I'll admit, I shed a tear of joy. I shed a tear because now I can truly call myself American.
This is Rez Robbie Matugas Aranguez. He is a sophomore at East Carolina University.
Double majoring in English, professional writing, and religious studies with a minor in business administration. I am a member of the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity. Also a founding member of the East Carolina Asian Students Association, and I love meeting new people, learning about different things.
Rez is involved on campus. He is academically gifted and has a kind heart. He is your favorite American, but it wasn't always that way. Well, the American part. Rez is just like any other student, but what he had to do during college was apply for the naturalization process.
Well, what brought me to that decision was we just saw certain chances and opportunities. I remember during my one semester I was at UNC Charlotte, although I've been living in North Carolina for my whole life, I've worked a bunch, worked for a number of years. I remember the hurdles I had to jump through in order to get the in-state tuition. Now, because I don't know what their process was like, I remember I was initially charged out-of-state tuition, but I lived in North Carolina my whole life. But it was probably because of my immigration status that I was just a green card holder, but not. And I don't know like I said, I don't know what was going on with their administration, but I was charged that, and then I had to show proof that I've worked, other pieces of evidence that I was living in North Carolina for at least 1 year, and I just thought I was just irritated by it all. Some of the earliest memories I have growing up were in a town called Sanford, North Carolina. As a little kid, didn't really know what was considered a good life or hard life or whatever, any of those things. All I remember is just this was the life I grew up with.
Process where someone who is not a citizen becomes a citizen. These are the 6 basic requirements for citizenship eligibility. 1. Be a lawful permanent resident, also known as a green card holder. 2. Be at least 18 years old. 3. Have you had a green card for at least 5 years, or if you are married to a U.S. citizen, for 3 years. 4. Have lived in the same state for at least 3 months before applying. 5. Be a person of good moral character. And last but not least, 6. Be able to understand and speak basic English. These are things that Rez had to abide by to receive his citizenship. Rez's mother was the first to enter the States. The rest of his family followed. There were things in the States that his mother felt were important for her child to have.
But I think the most remarkable thing about my mom growing up, I can say, is that she never once complained. She never once complained about how much she had to work, because she knew that she wanted to take care of us. She wanted to make sure my sister and myself and my brother that we had the means to live comfortably. And that was another reason why we actually moved closer to Raleigh, to Wake County, because she wanted us to have the best education possible.
Rez says his mom believed in education to the fullest extent. She believed that her children should have the same opportunities provided in the States rather than in the Philippines.
I I remember my mom worked really hard. She could pull near 60-hour weeks, and then my dad was at home making sure that we were taken care of, my brother, sister, and I know that the reason why she wanted to move us out here to the States was because, well, biggest thing was education opportunities. Now, there are a number of colleges and universities in the Philippines, and I'll admit, if it wasn't for my parents getting their degrees for my dad, it was in English, and my mom, it was in nursing. If it wasn't for them getting their degrees, I don't think that we would have been able to afford certain opportunities that we had and certain privileges that we were fortunate enough to live with.
Although coming to the States was a plan for his family and receiving citizenship is what they all followed to do, Rez says that there are still pros and cons in every situation, and this situation definitely had both of them. Rez said his father even had more opportunities in the Philippines than in the States, but family sacrifices had to be made.
My dad was originally wanting to stay in the Philippines because he had a pretty decent job over there. He was working for the Department of Agriculture in the Philippines. But then my mom really wanted my brother, sister, and I to be able to afford certain opportunities that we may not have been able to have in the Philippines, and to be able to get the best education we could. So that was another reason why she moved us out here. And I think that, yeah, that was a tough decision. That was a really heavy decision. But I'm grateful for what she's done and for what my parents have done for me, because, you know, I have a lot of blessings, and throughout and going through some of the things I've been through, it makes me very grateful that I've had those blessings.
To Rez, this was more than signing a paper. It was the feeling of belonging.
Now, I'll always remember my roots, where I've come from, but in my identity, and that's why I say identity is a very powerful thing, because it's a means of people strengthening themselves, feeling like they're part of something bigger, and and that can help someone in finding out where they want to go in their lives. So, upon taking that oath and saying that I'm officially a citizen, it's a feeling that happens there's few other times I can say that I've ever felt that way. So, with all the work that was put forth, finally, it was definitely instant gratification.